Hey, everybody. Hey, Heather.
Hello. Hi, Tammy. Welcome
Hi.
in, everyone.
Yes. Hey, Gail. Thank you
Hi,
all
Gail.
for coming.
Mhm.
And I'll bet you, thank you, Gail. Appreciate that. So today it's just Heather and I because Lisa is actually shearing sheep today. And
That's
I,
exciting.
I can't wait to hear how that goes for her.
Yeah, me
That
too.
sounds so fun.
Me too. That's what she shared the live out last night, and I
Mhm.
commented, I can't wait to hear about it because I've never
Yeah.
done it.
Isn't that fun? I
Yeah.
know. I'm excited to hear about how that goes for her. Hey, Suburban Hillbilly. Good to see you. What a fun opportunity. And that's one of the things that I would love to have. I'd love to have sheep or another animal that actually allows me to be able to get the wool from it because I just think that would be the coolest thing.
Well, they've got the Angora rabbits.
Huh. I like that idea because
They're
rabbits were on my
smaller,
list.
right?
And it's doable.
Mm-hmm.
Do
You
you
don't.
have to process the rabbits before you get the Angora wool?
No, I think you just shave them off a certain time of year.
How fun!
Yeah, yeah.
I've actually bought Angora yarn before.
Yeah, so
That would
that's
be
that's
awesome.
something to look into.
It is. It
Hi.
is. Get
Yeah,
my
I wonder if it's weird for people to pop onto your live and be like, "Whoa, that's not Lisa."
What, Lisa? I'll tell you what was weird was the decision making on how I do the thumbnail. So I at first I'm like, well, gosh, like I don't know. I feel like I think, and I want to say hi to Ann Philbeck. Good to see you. Thank you so much for joining us. And I feel like we do have some viewers and people that come because they're Yogi Hollow Farm fans.
Oh, yeah,
And that's
obvious. Yeah.
Lisa's channel. So I almost well, and I think I did. Like my first thumbnail just had you and I, and I'm like, oh, Lisa needs to be there too.
Yeah.
Because it really
Right.
is like Lisa and I's, show kind of
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah.
So I thought, you know what? I'm gonna speak to it in the description that she's not gonna be there because I didn't want to mislead anybody.
Right.
And put her and she needs to be in that picture. So I
Yeah.
did it.
Yeah.
Hey,
I like
Billy
it.
Katie Walks, good to see you. Thank you so much for coming.
Yeah.
So we're going to have a great discussion today, and I'm really excited about it. I'm going to write down that little note you just told me about the Angora rabbits because I have been identifying an area on the property where it looks like the rabbits would work perfectly. There's a
Oh.
couple little, and it's part of, we have our goat pen, and then we have three goat pens. Okay, we've got one for the, and we've got one for the little boys who could probably go in with the big boys now, but they were like able to get through the fence and stuff. So, and we're actually thinking like that pen that they're in would be the good mating pen. Do you know what I mean?
Oh, yeah. That's a
when
good
we're
idea.
ready when we're ready to breed them again. And then of course we've got the pen with the girls, and we have six females, and we've got five boys. So we're at like 11 goats. We're not anxious to have kids, but I'll tell you what we're anxious for is the goat's milk. Stitching it up, capturing country life. Good to see you all. And hey, John H. I will say hi to my husband. You got it. Thank you so much for hopping
Yeah.
in.
So
Hope all is well out your way.
I've got two goats. I've got a female, and then I've got, the male that's fixed
Uh-huh.
for her company. But there's a lady that's not far from me that raises the same kind, and
She
they're
does what?
registered. She raises the same kind of goats I have,
Okay. Do you have the
and
Nigerian dwarfs or the Nubians?
Nubians.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so I need to call her and see what it takes to see if I can get my dough bread.
Mm-hmm.
Because I would like to have milk and
Yeah.
a baby or babies.
Oh my gosh, nothing is cuter than
Right.
a little baby goat. I'll tell you that. They are so adorable. Hey,
Yeah.
P&J's Homestead Adventure. Yeah, they are the cutest thing ever. Our last baby, her name is Lady. Hey, AR Patriot 1776. Good to see you. Our last baby was a surprise. My husband and I actually thought we were hearing a baby deer because we were hearing her. We went out there, and I think the mom was surprised too. She was the only baby, and the mom was freaking out and rejected her as a baby. So she actually was an indoor goat for like the first 6 months, and then she was all kinds of obnoxious. So we had to get her acclimated with the herd. I mean, and she was
Oh,
really torn for a while. You could tell she didn't know whether she wanted to go with us or go back to the goats. It was kind of funny because,
right.
they're such herd animals.
Yeah.
But
Oh, yeah.
but we have a pen right there where the baby boy goat, well, they're not babies anymore, but the two boy goats are, and they've got like a little I don't know, housing unit. I don't know, barn, but it's not a barn. It's just like
Yeah.
a little shelter thing. And it's kind of old and it's got a wall. So part of it is open that just isn't being used for anything. And I was like, this would be perfect for the rabbits when we get rabbits. It's kind
Yeah.
of rocky in there. We found a snake
Right.
in there once. Like, it's kind of wild, if you will. It's a little, not like there's weeds and stuff,
But
but
you don't use it as often. So,
we
yeah.
don't, we're not in and out of it, and animals know this, like spiders know this, everything knows when people
I
are coming.
know. I
But
found one on my shirt, like this big, huge black one. And I'm like, oh, get it off.
yeah, that's when you see me go all kinds of crazy. And then, but I'm thinking it'd be perfect to put some rabbits in there, and I love the Angora wool idea.
Yeah. Yeah. So, yeah, look into that and stuff. I don't
Mm-hmm.
know. I don't know what groups. I'm sure
Mm-hmm.
there's groups
Uh-huh.
you could find.
Yeah, very cool. Yeah, I'm going to look into that.
Yeah.
Okay, so today's discussion. So September is Preparedness Month, and we have really been focusing on all kinds of preparedness in different ways. There's a lot of great collaborations out there that I want to mention too. The 30 Days of Preparedness that's hosted by Big Valley Living. So I'm in that one, and I shared like all of my medical preps and like how I've organized my bulk herbs, and I've got one more video that's supposed to come out next Thursday on the 26th. And I'm going to get a little more into and organize better my herbal medicine. And my goal is I need to create like a list that shows like the tinctures I have, which going through my bulk herbs, I realized there's tinctures I need to make. So some stuff to work on there. And then you can have a list, right, that tells the tincture indications. What is it to be used for, And
Yep.
then your dose and frequency. Because my
Yeah.
family only knows if they come and ask me.
Yeah.
But, you know, so I want them to be able to maneuver that themselves, in case I wasn't here or something like that.
That's a good
So,
idea. A very good idea because,
mhm,
the other people in your family, your friends or whoever, they don't know what you've got going
mhm,
on in your kitchen
yeah.
or whatever.
Yeah.
So,
Even like my salves, like the lemon balm salve, a lot of people would think, well, what do I use this for? Great, it's lemon balm salve. What do I use this for? And they just don't know all of the things you can use it for. So
right.
that's something I'm going to be working on. So your medical preps are one thing. And we did talk about that some last week. And then preserving your food. We talked about that last week. But there's so many other things, right? That
Yeah.
people could try to work on this month and focus on. So,
Well, and I think like people may be confused on prepping. Like
mhm,
prepping doesn't need to mean, forever. All
yeah,
the things, all the expensive things and everything, all the things, right?
yeah,
Prepping could be for the winter. Maybe in your area you have hard winters, or
yeah,
the kids went back to school and colds are coming about. What if you're not feeling well and you can't get to the grocery store for the
mhm,
medicine or the food?
yep,
So there's like lots of scenarios, earthquakes, maybe your neighbor down the road fell and you
mhm,
need to go help them until
Yeah.
somebody can come help that's more
Hmm.
professional.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. There's another collaboration going on called Stock It Up September that's hosted by Bucket List Homestead. And I love that one because it's the $15 per week that you're buying food to put back
yeah.
for the winter. And I love that's an open collaboration. So it's open to anybody that wants to contribute. But I'm loving that one because you know what I'm nerding out on for that one? The grandbabies. So I'm buying $15 of food for the grandbabies every week. That's my goal.
Yeah, like Katie said, they lost power for 5 days. Like we lost power for, I think it was like 6 hours. I know that's not very long because somebody hit a telephone pole. Well,
Hmm.
we could have lost, if it was longer, we could have lost all of our meat and everything. So
Hmm.
what are you going to do?
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Power for 5 days in June. Oh gosh. And I don't know where you are, but I'll bet it was hot.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
Mhm. They're loaded with goats. I'll be glad when we get more goat's milk in. One of
Yeah.
the first things that we start to look at when we're going through everything that we have is our lighting and our power source. So batteries and flashlights, headlamps, candles, but really flashlights and headlamps. And I really like the LED lights.
I,
You know.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and I always have in my pantry, because I use it to go close up the chicken coop and put all
Oh
the animals
yeah.
away at night, a rechargeable flashlight.
Mm-hmm.
And we just need to make sure that those things are recharged,
Yeah.
that you have fresh batteries and you know
Mm-hmm.
where they are. Um, Flashlights are important.
They are. And I told my husband, like, I need a new headlamp. My headlamp, I've made there's a little cover to the light bulb. It's fallen out several times, but that's one thing that I need to buy new is a headlamp. And it's
Yeah.
always good to have extra flashlights. We
Yes.
do have in our tornado shelter, we have we have it set up. Like our tornado shelter is like a little family room, but it's small. You know what I mean? Like we put down a rug in there. I should do a video on that
Yeah,
sometime
you should. I've never seen one.
because we've got buckets in there, water in there, Gatorade, things to sit on. Hey, River Rat Homestead,
Yeah.
thanks for coming in.
Yeah.
But we keep a. It's not even. I'm looking around like if I have one. It's one of those lights that closes up and you can pull it up. You can hang it from
Oh,
something.
yeah.
Yeah, it's really nice. And I've got several of those. It's funny. I bought them when they were on clearance. And my husband's like, what are you getting all of those for? Because I got like five of them. One time, I think they were like $8 a piece,
Yeah.
which was a really good deal. And I just bought them all. And so we were able to give one to the kids. We got one out there in the tornado shelter, and we have them in different places. And I think that's great for like flashlights too,
Yeah.
because what if the lights go out in the middle of the night? I'd kind of like to have one in different rooms just available.
Yeah, yeah. You always keep them in the same spot in all the areas that you
Hmm.
plan to have them, and
Yeah.
everybody knows. Like if you use it
Yeah.
from the back, or that's where you can find it if you need it. Yeah,
Hmm.
they have flashlights too, where like the back of it unscrews,
Yeah.
and it has like a little shovel in it, and you can put
Hmm.
matches in there,
Hmm.
because you never know.
Yeah.
You
Yep.
know, you
Also, a good time this month to go and check all of your flashlights if you have any that's been sitting and make sure the batteries haven't corroded in them. I was watching one channel, I think it might have been the Provident Prepper talking, and they were saying like they don't like to store their flashlights with batteries in them. They'll just put batteries with the flashlight, which isn't necessarily a bad. I guess if it's like in your long-term storage area, that would be a good idea.
yeah, but
Mhm.
like for me, I use mine daily.
Yeah, yeah, we do.
So
But there's what you use daily, and then there's what you put back, right?
yeah,
You know
yeah,
what I mean?
I
Mm-hmm.
think like maybe having the batteries maybe with some sort of tape or something taped to the outside of the flashlight so you're
Uh-huh.
not scrambling in
Yeah,
the
that's a good
dark
idea.
or something.
In the drawer. Like it's probably it would end up in a drawer, right? And then you're
And when
digging
it's
around
dark,
trying to
you're like doing this and you're stabbing yourself on like nails or something in there.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, you could also get like a battery testing kit and just make sure all the batteries are good, I
Yeah, or you
suppose.
could have like maybe like a I'm thinking tackle box,
Uh-huh.
even small
Uh-huh.
tackle box with like
Yeah.
flashlights and stuff in it,
Oh, that's a good idea.
right? And maybe put some kind of glow in the dark stickers or
Mhm. Oh,
paint.
I was seeing somebody too. They said everybody should have their own light, and you should plan for everyone to have their own light. So for the grandbabies, the little glow sticks that they can put on their wrist and things if the
Yeah,
electricity goes out. I mean, and it's almost winter, so the electricity. We get ice storms here in Missouri, but
yeah,
everybody gets their own kind of weather problems. But I
right.
loved the idea of having those glow sticks.
Yeah.
Halloween,
So
so they're going to be available.
yeah, they're gonna be going on clearance and sale.
Mhm,
Maybe they should
mhm.
be, but
Yeah,
keep checking. You never know.
mhm. Yeah, yeah, so I think we're gonna get some of those too, because I really liked that idea.
Yeah. Yep.
Mhm.
For sure. It's a very
Yeah.
good idea. Having a flashlight or something in the bathrooms,
Mhm.
probably a good idea.
Yes. Yeah, that's what I was thinking of too, is keeping lighting in different rooms. Hey, Adventures in Gardening, thanks for coming in. And Stitching It Up, Capturing Country Life, thank you for coming in.
Yeah.
And another thing that we were talking about was the whole heating thing. It is almost winter. A lot of people, like when we think of preparedness and just getting things ready, like preparing for winter's a biggie. And there's another collaboration. It's called Help Me. You know this one. It's the like a Proverbs preparing for winter, like a Proverbs 31 woman. Who is doing that? Gail. Gail.
Gail, do you know?
She knows
Or
all
another name?
things collabs. Oh, let me share this real quick while we're waiting on Gail. I store lighters, batteries, oils, etc. in one cabinet. Of course, lighter fluid and such is in garage. I also collect glow sticks for grandkids. Yep.
Yeah.
P&J's, we have flashlights in every room. You always have a light. Yeah, that's how I feel.
Yeah.
You should always have a light everywhere.
Well, because like for me, sometimes if you hear like at night the cows
Mm-hmm.
mooing, like
Mm-hmm.
you need to get up and you need to go find out what's going on.
Uh-huh. Because you could have a
Well,
predator,
gosh,
right?
one time it was the spring, and it was like
Mm-hmm.
1 o'clock in the morning, and we're hearing all the cows like
Mm-hmm.
moo, 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 moo. And we're like,
Uh-huh.
ooh, something's going on. We had our
Uh-huh.
flashlight. We had to go out and see what was going on. Was there a predator? What was happening? One of the cows gave birth. So, but that was
Right?
exciting. So at night we got to watch the cow give birth. So,
Mm-hmm.
but I'm glad it was that, not something else.
Yeah. All right, so it's Christina R. Wood Home. And speaking of preparing for winter, I think it's called, I asked Gail what the correct name of it is because I might butcher it a little bit because it's a long name. But I think it's like preparing for winter, like a Proverbs 31 woman or something like that.
Oh,
It's really cool. I need to get caught up because I
yeah, me
love
too.
it. Week one is getting out all of your jackets and washing them. I mean, we're almost right before hunting season too, right?
We're
So,
in bow season right
oh,
now.
you guys are? We might be
Yeah,
too then. Okay.
September 1st is when we start here, but we're West
Nice.
Coast, so
Mm-hmm.
it's different maybe.
Yeah, it might be different.
Yeah,
Yeah. What's cool here is you can get up to 4 doe. You get 1 buck and up to 4 doe. Isn't that crazy? In Arizona, you had to be drawn. It was a
yeah,
lottery, and you may
that's
or may
how it
not
is
be
here.
drawn to get 1 buck.
Yeah, that's how it is here. Good luck.
Mhm. Yeah. Oh,
So,
light. Yeah. So, real quick, week one, you're supposed to get out all of your jackets, gloves, scarves, and your hats, your beanies. and basically launder them. And here it is. Oh, look, I didn't jack it up too much. Preparing for winter like a Proverbs 21 woman.
Yeah.
An open collaboration. Hey, Butler Family Farm. And again, the hostess of this is Christina R. Wood Home, which she's kind of a new channel. So if you all haven't checked out Christina R. Wood Home, maybe Gail can drop. Sorry to be working you, Gail. I appreciate you so much, friend. Oh, she said, oh, it was 31. Okay, a Proverbs 31 woman. Look at me. I got it right. Um, Thank you for coming, Butler Family Farm. But it's an open collaboration, so everybody can go check that out. Week 1, you get out your coats, your winter gear, your gear, like jackets, coats, scarves, beanies, gloves. You check to see if there's anything, you launder everything, so it's all clean. And then you also check to see if there's any gloves to be mended, or, coats or jackets that might
Right.
need to be mended and stuff like that, which is a genius idea.
Well, and we just replaced our muck boots because I live in muck boots,
Thank you, Gail.
because, especially when it's wetter out during the
Hey, twin
fall, winter, spring.
bookmakers.
And so we just replaced our muck boots because mine
Mhm.
were like across the toe was cracked.
Yeah.
So after a couple of years, we got to replace them. But,
Hmm.
you know,
Yeah. And
yeah,
your boots.
yeah, your boots, or if you
Hmm.
do hiking or whatnot, you need to make sure that you've got the water repellent stuff on them.
Yeah.
There's hot stuff that you have to spray or rub on them to help keep them more water resistant.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Tammy's at work.
yeah. I wanted to just give a special mention for Twin Brookacres. Praying for you, and hope you all are doing all right. Your family's doing well. Yeah. And the other thing I wanted to mention was heating. So heating your home, and you know what, one thing, like, you don't hear a lot of people talk about it, but being aware of and have a plan for creating a microclimate within your house. And a lot of people don't talk about that, but if the electricity goes out, your heater's not working, and the even if you're on propane or something, um, it's not like your blower fan's going to work, so you don't have that. So there's different ways of heating,
Mm-hmm.
but being able to create a microclimate within your house, like, all of those old blankets, which makes it so hard for me to get rid of blankets, so I put them in a tub, an enclosed tub, all the extras to create,
Right.
because they were taking up so much space.
Well, so that is a real good idea because back in 1993, we had like
Hey,
a
Karen.
really, really horribly cold winter, and I was living with my parents, and I was pregnant,
Mhm.
and we had oil heating. The oil heater stopped
Mhm.
working during this cold snap, and it was like one of the coldest cold snaps ever. So we
Mhm.
had to take the living room and hang blankets. It was like one of those old houses where it had like big entries,
Yeah.
and so we just hung lots of
Mhm.
blankets, and then we had like a little space heater
Mhm.
because nobody was going to deliver oil heating,
Yeah.
oil, or come fix it. That was like
Mhm.
impossible. So we had to do that for several weeks, live like
Mhm.
that, and then go in the kitchen and cook all bundled up over the.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. And even in the summertime, like, I don't know. So before I talk about cooling, we'll stay on heating. Don't let myself go off on a tangent like I do, because you reminded me of something that I had friends that did growing up. But hey, Susan, canning again. She's amazing. Hey, OTWP. Um, so that is like the having an extra tent in your house. And
Yeah,
I was listening to one family, and they were talking about putting up a tent in their house when their electric was out, and they had the kids in there, and they were in the room, like their big,
yeah,
bedroom, and the
Right.
kids were in the tent, and the mom woke up in the middle of the night. She's like, "Oh my god, my babies!" Right? So she goes and checks the kids, and she said when she unzipped the tent, she could feel like warm air coming at her, and they all look cozy as could be because
Right.
they were in that microclimate. So even like hanging up a blanket, my husband and I were talking, and we were thinking we could like hang up a blanket and on one side of our room to like close it off from the other side to create like this microclimate if that
Yeah.
happens. But
Right.
um,
You can use, like
Betty,
plywood. What's that? Paneling. Some
yeah,
houses have the
yeah,
paneling if you have extra
we
people.
got paneling. Yep.
Yep. I
Hmm.
actually fixed some old paneling like that to make it look good. That's a
Awesome.
different topic.
That
But
is. That
um,
is. It's so funny. Like we
having
need to do a craft.
socks. Socks is one thing. You need to have socks.
Oh, good mention on that one. Got to have your warm socks. Oh, in your winter gear. She mentioned socks too. I forgot to say the socks. But like your wool socks, how worn are they?
Yep. Yep.
Yep. Anne said all my quilts and blankets to wash and put in those airtight bags, the ones that you can like use your vacuum cleaner to suck the air out so they get flat.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's a good idea. I don't have those. I just got them. I have them crammed in like bins. And then I've got like the bins in a closet, and truly they're taking up a good deal of space. I need to get them maybe like under the porch or something. But that's a great idea. For heating, what do you guys have over there for heating other than your heater that's on your house?
So we have a separate building that's like a double car garage, and we call it the shop. And we have
Mm-hmm.
a wood stove in there. And so we have
Awesome.
wood stored up. So if we had to, we could go over there.
Mm-hmm.
But we also have a solar backup generator. So we could plug in a portable heater if we needed to, like go into a smaller bedroom in the home. Um,
Mm-hmm.
you do want to make sure that your pipes and things like that are insulated so that they
Mm-hmm.
don't burst, because you never
Yeah.
know.
You
Um,
never know.
you
Mm-hmm.
never know if there's going to be a cold snap that comes through no matter where you live.
Mm-hmm.
We've got a lot of things going on in the atmosphere right now, a lot of earthquakes happening and things like that. Solar, like the
Mm-hmm.
solar flares and stuff like that, like the energy from that goes into the ground,
Mm-hmm.
and that disturbs the things underground.
Yeah.
Oh
You
yeah,
guys.
that it is. Hold on, I'll be right back.
Okay. Solar is a great idea. I love the solar lights too. I mean, I'm kind of backpedaling to the light thing, but the solar lights are great to have, and we have those because you can use those as lighting in your house if you had to. But go ahead, Heather.
Yeah, solar lights from like the Dollar Tree store. Just don't pull the tab out of them and have some sitting aside. You know,
Mm-hmm.
anything that where you can find a good deal on solar lights and things like that at a store.
Mm-hmm.
Um, grab them up just a few at a time. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I think some people get overwhelmed with all these things. Write
Yeah.
down all your things, which is going to be a
Mm-hmm.
lot of things, and it's going to continue to be lots of things because there's going to be
Mm-hmm.
more
Yeah.
and more things you want to add. But just mark it off: a pack of socks, a pair of good shoes, or
Mm-hmm.
another blanket from the resale store or thrift store or whatever, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, those blankets. I mean, and don't forget, you can even use the blankets to cover up windows if you didn't have,
Yeah.
any heating to provide an extra layer of insulation.
Yeah, and that's another thing too, is if you like, so when I was younger, I lived in Alaska, and we used to roll blankets up and put them
Mm-hmm.
along the edges of the windows and like the doors and stuff like that,
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
because that'll help keep like drafts from coming
drafts.
in things.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, yeah, that is cool.
Mm-hmm.
What about buddy heaters? We have buddy heaters.
Yeah, yeah, have some of those. I mean, you want to have a couple of different sources of
Mm-hmm. You do. It's
everything.
funny you mentioned your shop because that's what my husband was saying. We have a shop on our property, and it has looks like somebody was trying to turn it into like living quarters, because there is like a separated, walled bedroom in there, and you could tell they had an AC
Oh, right.
unit in the window. And that's what he was saying, was we need to get it organized and set up down there, because if anything ever happened, and we were talking about, you can get these small little wood burning stoves, and they're small ones, but they'll
Yeah.
heat a small area.
Yeah.
I've even seen people use them in like RVs, like even littler ones.
Yeah.
But they you can use those, and they'll heat up a small area. They're like, right now he found one, and I think it was less than $300.
Yeah.
Hey
Yeah.
Nancy,
Little pot belly wood stoves and
have
stuff
a
like
good day,
that.
OTWP.
Even if you don't have it hooked up and you just get it, and make sure that
Mm-hmm.
you get the correct piping to go for your
Yep.
venting. Like, get the things that you need even if you don't have it set up.
And the heat
Have it.
protective top for it to go on and around it, so
Yeah.
you can make
Plate
sure
for
that you don't run
floor
into
and
a fire
wall.
scenario.
So look into
Hey,
that.
Wild Man, good to see you, friend.
Mhm.
Hey, Kristen, good to see you.
Yeah. So, and then having like easy meals that
Uh-huh.
you can cook up real quickly. And how do you do that if you have
Mm-hmm.
no power?
Yeah, when it comes to like food prep, I have to say I love the meal ideas that require only water. So then you're
Yeah.
talking like all your freeze dried foods, right? That
Right.
last for 25 years.
Now,
Mm-hmm.
I was watching the budget preppers, and she
Mm-hmm.
was doing some different freeze dried things. And I know that not
She's
everybody
the
has a
master.
freeze dryer.
Mm-hmm.
Um, she made spaghetti, and she
Uh-huh.
double sealed above the spaghetti. She had a big bag, right? And then she
Uh-huh.
put the water on the top, and then
Mm-hmm.
filled with the water. It was like one big package. So you had the water to reconstitute the spaghetti meal.
Oh,
All
that's cool.
Yeah, so check that out. That was the budget preppers. Check out her.
Very cool. So she actually put the water that she was going to need
Yeah,
to cook the noodles.
right. And you could do the same thing with dehydrating.
Mm-hmm. You could. Yeah, especially if you live in like a water type area, right? Like
Oh,
water deficient in Arizona, that
yeah.
would have been really, but I don't know. Maybe I feel like we're water rich now, like especially coming from Arizona. We come here to this area,
Oh,
there's
yeah, I
lakes and
bet.
rivers everywhere. We're like, water.
Yeah,
We wanted to move where the water was. That was our
right.
goal, and boy, did we. But
Yeah, we're
still, what
lucky.
if the water's contaminated? You know what I mean? I mean, we have a Berkey. I love the Berkeys. And I would advise everybody to get one, because
Yeah,
even if you're on city water, it can filter out like
yeah.
chlorine, the fluoride, the stuff in there that you don't want, whatever everybody's
So,
flushing down their drains.
so for me, I'm gonna ask you, but for me, my most important idea is lighting, how
Mm-hmm.
to start a fire,
Mm-hmm.
like if I need to build a little fire to keep warm,
Mm-hmm.
socks, shoes, and some like a good coat and a hat.
Uh-huh.
Like, and some the water though, that's really important
Mm-hmm.
to have water available in any
Yeah.
situation in your
Yeah.
car. You know,
Yeah.
like,
Yeah. Good call.
yeah,
And the master fire starter, Arc Wildman Survival. I mean, they will never be hungry. He can cook anything on a fire, I have to
I
say.
bet.
It's amazing. You should see. If anybody hasn't seen his Cast Iron Wednesdays, go check him out. He cooks everything. I mean, there's so many meal ideas that you could get just from watching him, and how he does that. And that takes some skill and some practice, because I have tried cooking on an open fire, and it's been a really slow process. Like things didn't get done when
Yeah,
I
yeah, it is. It is because when you're using cast iron and fire, the fire is warmer than your typical oven or stovetop, and then
hmm
cast iron cooks for even longer. Hi,
hmm
Nancy. Yeah, so that's some skill that now is getting, well, for us, our temperature, like we had a false fall where it was like raining and cold, and then all of a sudden it was like in the 90s again, and
Mm-hmm.
now we're back in the low 70s. So I'm like, okay, I think it's here.
Yeah,
I
it's
think
here.
so. I'm gonna
At
try
least it's
something
fake
else.
fall. It's some kind of fall.
Yeah, I'm gonna play around outside with making food.
Yeah, yeah, that's a good skill to have.
Yeah, yeah,
Hmm. Everything, even like the taking the food out there, the cooking it, the making sure that you know how to, like, I don't know, just all of it. Like how high should the fire be? All of this stuff. I think when you watch somebody cook over a fire, there's so many things that we could easily take for granted, and we're not going to realize like really how challenging it is
yeah,
until we actually get used to it. And Ark's
yeah,
probably thinking it's not
yeah.
hard
Well, and they
because he does
have
it all
this.
the time, but I know from experience
I
it's not that.
saw, where was I at? I can't remember where I was at. I was at one of the farm supply stores, and they had fire pit rings, like big, huge ones, and it
Yeah.
had like a little arm with a smaller ring that
Hmm.
you could put
Oh,
and
cool.
turn it off. Like
I love that.
move, like if you had your kettle
Hmm.
heating up down here, you could move it to the top one, but you could also
Nice.
turn it away from the fire. Does that
Yeah.
make sense? So they've got like smaller versions of that where
Hmm.
you have little arms. Be careful because it's hot.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. Yeah, he uses, I don't know, I from all the videos I've seen, Ark uses like he has a grill, puts over the top of it. I mean, it's nothing
yeah,
it doesn't look like he's doing anything fancy, but I know there's technique. How, again, it comes down to how hot's the fire, and moving it over the hottest part, moving it over away from the hottest part, like just different
yeah,
things. A technique that he's mastered, and I don't know. I just know that it's difficult because I've tried it.
yeah. I think like making your list of all the things for
Mhm.
preparedness month and
Yeah,
checking all your things, and like I said, your list will keep growing.
it will.
Don't feel
One of the things I want to get this year that I have not tried before, but I was watching some people with them, and they're the little cans of heat, and you
oh
buy
yeah, yeah,
them. Yeah, you
yeah,
can buy them at like Costco, Sam's Club, whatever you
yeah.
have. But the little cans of heat, and then you can get like
I think it's Sterno. Is it Sterno?
maybe,
I
I don't
think
remember the brand, and
maybe.
there might be a couple different brands for all I know,
Right.
because I've never used those before. But I loved the concept of having like this little can of heat that you can use in the house for if the weather is so bad that there is no cooking outside option.
Yeah.
You know what
You
I
just
mean?
want to make sure that you, like, maybe if you could bring some bricks or pavers or something in to set that
Mm-hmm.
on because it gets really hot.
Mm-hmm.
So you got to be careful if you have anything like that in.
Well, I was thinking that's when your own stove comes in handy. No,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be my plan. But I have the flat top stove. I guess if you had the rings, because remember it's supposed to go underneath of something you're cooking,
Yeah.
so it's got to be able to stand upright.
Well, we've
Whatever.
got some of those big, huge, for like banquets or whatever, metal where you put all the food in there and
Oh
you
yeah.
put under there. We have those
Oh, that
um,
would work
just
perfect. Oh
because.
my gosh, you could cook so much on that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hmm.
We have
Awesome.
those because like Thanksgivings and Christmases and stuff can be
Yeah.
sometimes large.
Yeah. That
So
would be really handy.
mhm.
And the other thing, when you're talking about the cooking
Yes,
inside and the buddy heaters and all that, you got to make sure you have an battery operated carbon monoxide detector.
yeah, and have your fire extinguisher in the same spot in working order and know where it is. Like back from doing my own preschool childcare, we had to
Hmm.
have a fire extinguisher like on each floor. And so
Hmm.
now I'm just in habit of, you know, this is
Yeah.
it's always in the same spot. Like
Yeah.
you never know.
Yeah. I'm right there with you. We used to have a pest control company in Arizona, and we had to have a fire extinguisher on the truck, which I used to go put out a fire on someone else's vehicle in a car accident once. So it really came in handy. But we also always keep one, on the boat and then in the kitchen. Hey, Charles, Bushcraft family. Thanks for coming in.
Did you read Gail's comment?
Purchase gauze so hubby won't put toilet paper on my wound and then try to get the toilet paper off with tweezers.
Yeah. Check your medical kits for sure. Make sure, because if you have a wound, say Gail's, I don't know how, I know it was pretty bad, but if it was worse, when you have a very serious wound, you go through gauze and stuff.
Yeah.
Like crazy. So you need to stock up on that stuff and put it in some kind of a container.
Hey, Jan, thanks for coming in. Yeah, lots of gauze. And don't throw out your old t-shirts. Cut them up and put them somewhere.
Yeah.
Because not even just for wounds, but let's say somebody has a sprain or a bruise or anything. Don't forget the value that those things have when you're talking about poultices.
And things to keep things clean. You need to keep all those wounds clean.
Yep. Yes.
That's very important. Keeping clean. Duct tape. I don't know if I want to rip that off my skin.
Nancy said it is Sterno cans. The cans of heat.
Okay.
Hey, Jennifer Ocean Homestead. Thanks for coming. Gauze and duct tape. Yep. Duct tape. You can use that stuff for everything.
Yeah, and I like having bentonite clay available. So I make my own deodorant with the bentonite clay. But you can also make toothpaste. You can also make poultices. You can, so many things.
Yeah, that is a good one to have.
Yeah. Rub dirt on it and move
Gosh, and don't forget about the alcohol and the witch hazel too for sterilizing things.
With the ointments, like antibiotic, 3-in-1, different kind of ointments. And that was the budget preppers.
That's a good tip. Checking the expiration dates on those fire extinguishers.
There's a little dial on your fire extinguishers that tells you if it's good or bad. Like it's a gauge, usually. So check those.
Good month to do it. Yep. That's how I'm kind of thinking is September's the month to nerd out. Nerd out on it this month.
Yeah, and if you do one battery in your fire extinguisher, do them all at the same time. Kind of like your light, like if your blinker light on your car is going out, don't replace that one. Replace both of them because the other one's going to start going out too. So just do it. Check all your batteries, your socks, your boots, your coats, your hats, your blankets. Make sure, what if a mouse or a rat or something, you never know. I don't have that problem, but I'm just saying, what if it got into your blankets and you go to, in the winter, use your blankets and they're all chewed up?
Yeah, that's right.
Or your boots or, I don't know, your socks.
Yeah. I like the idea of canning homemade soups.
Yeah, that's a thing too. If you're sick or you can't get out for whatever reason, maybe you're taking care of somebody else in your home that's sick. You can't go to the store. What kind of meals do you have that are easy, quick and easy that you can just add some warm water or,
easy being the opposite word.
Applesauce, you don't have to have freeze dryer. You don't have to have a dehydrator. You can dehydrate in your oven. Things. You don't have to spend money at those big companies buying that stuff.
Yeah. Plus, they have a lot of salt. When you buy the canned soups and things, there is so much salt in there. It's ridiculous. There could be like 1,600 milligrams of salt in a serving. It's crazy.
Yeah. Or even if you make a bunch of soup or chili or whatever and put it in freezer bags in your freezer.
Yep.
That's a lot quicker than you taking an hour or two throwing all the stuff together to
Yep.
make the meal when you're taking care of someone or yourself.
Mm-hmm. Hey, Gail, for Ark Wildman's email, go check the email you sent. Make sure you use the right number of X's because he's got 2 X's. That could have been maybe
He's
a really...
got 2 X's.
That would be something that I would screw up. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's definitely opportunity for error there. Just saying.
Yeah. I keep all of my denim as well because you can use your denim for patching clothing.
I love that idea. T-shirt
having thread
and
needles to sew things. You might need to repair that sock in an emergency.
Frozen chili in my freezer for dip. I like to have frozen chili in the freezer, frozen chicken soup. Always like to have frozen chicken soup or even beef soup. Those things are so good to have.
Yeah.
Hey, I like Smoky Mountain
having some in the freezer, some canned, and then I'll be doing some freeze dried. So I'll have choices because what if you have to get out of your house? What are you going to take with you?
Yes. Yep. My husband's really big on the freeze dried foods because that's what he says too. If we had to leave, if there was a fire or whatever, we could grab up these huge bins, not even that huge. I'm looking around because I know I got bins next to me, but you can fit so many freeze dried foods in a bin and it's not going to be that heavy. Again, and I'm big on that, how heavy it is.
Because if
jars, they're not going anywhere.
Yeah, if you've ever lifted a case of full quart jars, that's pretty heavy.
I know.
And that's only, what is that, 12? Yeah, I think 12. That's heavy.
Yeah, it is heavy. I mean, and they break. They break pretty easily. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you would have to stuff a lot of fabric or something around all the jars. And then still, the seal can pop off or...
Yep. So you got your Mylar bags, right? And your oxygen absorbers.
Yeah.
For the Mylar bags.
Yeah.
That's something I need to stock up more on because my daughter signed up to be a Thrive associate. So she's selling the Thrive Life foods, which is freeze-dried foods. And I told her, I need your ID and password, please. Like, just let me go in there and shop.
Yeah, I've tried a few things with them. Their chocolate pudding.
Yes.
Not for me.
And we are around, I don't know, 20 minutes or ish from, which we're closer than we used to be fair, from a fast food place. So that's not fast food. I mean, if you're let's talk about quality of food at fast food places. Oh my gosh. I don't even remember the last time we went to a McDonald's because it's so disgusting there.
It's expensive. And not
leftovers is fast food as far as I'm concerned. There's your fast food.
Yeah, I don't we keep trying again going out to eat and then we're like, we just spent this much money and I could have spent half that amount buying a couple extra items at the store to make something fun.
Yeah. And it wouldn't even be that hard, right? Like it's hard to throw together a pizza. Which if any content creators are throwing together a pizza, you should do a pizza party video for Heather's collaboration.
Actually, I'm teaching my oldest daughter tonight how to make pizza homemade so that she can hopefully save money.
Can everybody put are they allowed to? Will YouTube let them put their own links in?
No, a moderator would have to do that.
Oh, okay. Well, if anybody can for Anne.
Yeah. So, but I'm really excited to hear Lisa's adventure with the...
Oh, I got you, Jennifer. That's a good plan. Yeah, I'm just going to buy under my daughter's and I can take her discount and then if she benefits, however she benefits, that's cool.
Oh yeah, that's a good idea.
Good
Well,
way
that's what I
to
did actually, Jennifer.
hmm
So we did the payment plan on the freeze dryer so we could get it now
Huh.
because I don't want to wait until we
Yeah.
save up the money because
Yeah.
by the time we save up all that money,
hmm I know it, right?
I don't know, you know. So the payments though are way cheaper than we were paying for the orthodontics. So it's
Wow.
not bad. It's under $100. So if you can afford that, and
Mhm.
then I think it's 2 years, 2 years of zero interest. So
She just said everybody's link, Gail. Yeah, I would love to have one of those. I mean, I use my dehydrator as much as I can, but some stuff, like for example, meat. Meat does, I mean, unless you're making beef jerky, it doesn't dehydrate really well. Or eggs, because I have dehydrated eggs. And what happens is the grease, you know what I mean?
yeah,
The grease makes it a little challenging. I don't know. I guess I get nervous about long term food storage when you're
yeah,
talking about meat and eggs. Well, except for like beef jerky, those seem to dry out really well
yeah,
because it's not a super fatty cut of meat, maybe, but the eggs and stuff.
yeah. That's kind of what I'm thinking about doing is
That's what we're doing, Nancy.
like bulk corn, get as much corn as I can done in the
Mhm.
dehydrator or the freeze dryer,
Yep.
and moving along peas,
hmm
whatever, and then just getting all that stored, and then
Yep.
making like soup kits.
Yep. Canned meat, absolutely, and knowing what to do with that canned meat. Y'all got spam? How are you cooking that spam? You know who's doing a collaboration for spam? Spam Timber. Is it Leanne Mennonite Farmhouse? Is she the one that's hosting that? I can't remember.
I've never
Do you
had it.
know who's hosting Spam Timber?
I've never eaten spam before.
I just saw the Inquisitive Farm Wife. She made well, I forget. She had like a fancy name for them, but they were these balls. And she shredded the spam and then she put cheese in with it, almost like making like meatballs, but it was like with spam. But they had a fancy name. I'm like ruining it. Like what
Right? Spam balls.
spam ball doesn't quite sound as good as what I forget what she called them, but it looked really
Yeah.
good and I was like, "Oh my goodness, I've never thought of that."
When me and my husband went to
No
Maui
spam for
for
Jan.
our 20th anniversary, and
Mhm.
in Maui at the grocery store, they had 2 aisles
Mhm.
filled with spam, floor to ceiling spam, every kind of spam.
Mhm.
I
Mhm.
was like, wow, they like their spam.
Oven canning dry goods. Yeah, look at Ark Wildman made spam corn dogs.
Huh.
The thing is, like, you could not like something, and all of a sudden, when you're really hungry, it probably would taste amazing.
Yeah, the spam is quite expensive here.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I
It
mean,
has gotten expensive. I
yeah,
guess, like, I have some that I bought when it was cheap.
yeah, yeah.
Yes, thank you to all of the mods for dropping links. Thank you
Prepper
guys so much.
Cookery is the spam timber creator.
Okay, that's who did it. So there's some great videos out there. I like to go.
Do they got
Yep,
salsa
Jan.
spam? I might try
Yep.
salsa spam.
Oh gosh, guys, we got like 1 minute. Anybody have any questions for us? Any other tips? Oh, I do want to mention there's going to be an Ozark meetup next year in June that Gale Southern Living and Simply Jan Homestead are hosting together. I think it's at the Pomme de Terre Lake,
I like
which
that name.
Pomme de Terre. Yep,
That's
spam
really
cut
nice.
thin and crispy. Thank you again for joining me today, Heather, and
Yeah.
everybody. Lisa be back next week.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, she's having a good time.
She
She's
is. I can't wait to hear all about it.
doing really
So
cool
cool.
skills. Yeah.
Keystone has great canned meat. I like the freeze-dried meat too. The freeze-dried meat gets good. Here's the details on that, just so everybody can start thinking about it.
Are you going?
We might. June 6th to 8th. I haven't really talked to the hubby about it too much, but we might. Thank you so much, Jan. Thank you all so much for coming. We'll see you next week, everyone.
Good discussion. Make those lists and work on them.
Yep. Now's the month. Mm-hmm. Now's the month. I like to just focus on this for the month of September. Mm-hmm. So have a great day and a great rest of your week, everybody, and we'll see you next time.
Thank you.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.